Well, hello, my darling YouTube fam. It is I, Rebecca, and I don't know why I pointed like that. It's a pleasure to see you here with me right now, and I hope you're comfortable. I have digest tea. I just thought the flavours on the packet looked really nice. Not in your teens anymore when you're buying digest tea, I can tell you. Let's get on with the video. This video was brought to my attention. I don't know if you darlings have seen this video or not, but it's America's Got Talent, and Golden Buzzer, Nightbirde's original song makes Simon Cowell emotional. America's Got Talent 2021. I clicked on it, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't generally watch all of America's Got Talent. I know that certain aspects of shows like this can be slightly contrived and manipulated. And I get that because it's a visual medium, you know. Sometimes I'm kind of just like, you know, move on, just get to the talent, get to the singing, get to the juggling or whatever, comedy or impressions. I understand the sort of format of the shows and things like that, and how it's all done. But with this one, I feel like, I don't know why, this one kind of changed everything for me, and how I kind of viewed this show in particular. Like I said, if you haven't watched it, feel free to watch it. I watched it literally just again. America's Got Talent do like to block. You know, I think I got away with it once, so thank you for that. But I didn't want to risk doing a reaction and then forfeiting the video, you know, because I've played it. So basically, beautiful Nightbirde, beautiful singer, sang, completely wowed everyone. And prior to that, she explained that she's been dealing with cancer, and she still has it within her. But what got me was that not only was she kind of like, seemed to be, no pun, but okay with it, and her sort of disposition with it, and her mental sort of ability to talk about it so openly and authentically, right? But it really showed within her sort of songwriting and sort of singing ability. And I just think it became more than, the word authentic that I guess we sort of like throw around all the time, like she's authentic, this is authentic singing, the songwriting and everything like that. And I will talk about her vocal, but as a songwriter myself, I just wanted to touch upon the bare nature of the song, and why is it with this song, along with her story and what she said prior, what is it about, why am I reacting, why am I feeling like this? Well, I just cried, and I'm still feeling it. So like, can you hear it? A little bit trembling. And then I was thinking, and then I kind of went into vocal coach territory when I was like, not breaking down her voice or anything like that, but I was just very curious as to what makes that happen. And I think there's a few elements as to why. Being an empath as well, I do generally say, you know, technique can sometimes go out the window if you've got this kind of like deeper, enriched emotional connection. Generally you do with your own songs, right? So when you do songwrite, it does just come out, and sometimes it's like, well, where does that come from? Sometimes trauma, sometimes just relationship breakdown, sometimes just things that have happened in your life, parents breaking up, all sorts of things, you know, family or friends, and life comes out in your songwriting. So it's kind of like, well, where does it come from? It just comes from the soul, comes from within. And sometimes you can't really explain it. But I feel like this is almost like a diary entry, if you get my gist. Hang on, let me have a sip. Thanks for allowing me. And in terms of like the songwriting, where it's like, we're okay, it's all right. And I think it resonates with like so many people on so many levels, because it's that simple, you know, I'm okay, it's all right. Those without it sort of over embellishing the text or the sentiments behind that, where we can think, oh, what's like amazing songwriting that could rhyme with this amazing word, and to make people look it up and be like, wow, look what a writer I am. But with something as pure as this, it doesn't need it. You don't need to over embellish with the lyrics. You know, the story, the lyrics speak for themselves, and the honesty and the purity and the for me, I just felt like a diary entry. I don't know where that came from, but in my head it was kind of like something like that. The song, her singing, you could hear that there was strength being omitted, or, you know, like a sense that there was strength through such vulnerability, which is such a hard thing to get sometimes from from singers or especially like beginners or even advanced singers, you still want to derive back to the emotion, because that what makes songwriting, that what makes singing, is that connection from human beings, like we are human. And for me, it's like you want to show that vulnerability. You need to show vocal nakedness. I don't know. That's a new one. It takes great strength. And although I always say there's strength in vulnerability, and not to be afraid, because through the fear is the strength, And it's also, I'll talk about the voice in a minute, right? The community aspect to it all also. Because as you see with the audience, it's incredible how... We all know how music touches us and how music... It's getting emotional. Sorry. Sorry. And what it does to us. And you have a song like this, which speaks to so many people on such a humane level without... It's such a simple... like structure as well, like in terms of, I just thought, what's the music? What is the music? Because you don't hear the music in a sense, you hear her voice. But I'm always keen to listen out to music as well, and what instruments are used, and not going too deep, but with that you just on the surface you just want to allow the music to breathe in you, like I've said before with other songs. But with this song, just with its bare 3 chord structure, and then it was only, so it's very much just 3 chord structure, and then all it was doing was just like, which I find really interesting, because you don't always need, depending on what emotion or what song or what story you want to tell, you don't always need over the top musical embellishments to make that happen. And that's fine when say bands or groups or just artists use that as well, because you can still have passion and meaning with that also, of course. But just decoding this song, and she has this like certain aura around her as well. And I just think, I could relate on a personal level because I had a tumour. I don't need to go into all that right now, but I think it hit me hard because it's all was fine, but I think it just, you relate, and then you sort of connect, or maybe subconsciously you go, I get that, or I understand that. But if you notice, like, the whole audience participates within this, and it's a dead silence. And it's kind of like there's a stillness that you don't generally get with, say, all singers. Sorry, my nose is like running. Sip of tea. And there's definitely chills that erupt in you and filter through you. Okay, now I should really talk about her voice, but I wouldn't say it's secondary, because she is a beautiful singer. She has such a crystal, very, I guess, a thinner kind of sound. It's not heavy, it's not dark in tones, or she's obviously not going for opera or classic musical theatre or anything like that. It's a more of a speaking voice. It's very neutral larynx kind of thing. There was a build up, there was dynamics involved there in her singing, but not an incredible amount, a tiny bit. And also I noted that she began to command her voice in terms of just a little bit more thicker, fuller quality, and resonance came through a little bit more as the song progressed. And it was only like 2 minutes, I think, which is barely nothing, right? But that's interesting as well, that the fact within that time frame you can evoke so much emotion, which is incredible to do that. And it's always nice to allow songs to breathe and let them go on for like 7 minutes or whatnot to really take you on a journey. But within that time frame as well, I think that was an interesting point also. But I know that that's kind of how it is for these shows. They only allow a certain amount of time, right? And just make a point that Simon did press that buzzer, didn't he? And he was like umming and ahhing. Well, I don't think it was umming and ahhing. I think he probably knew in his head that she was the one. And that's amazing as well. And I think just to say, it wasn't like I'm a little lost, it's we're a little lost. And it's when you sort of not make it sort of completely your point of view as a songwriter, and you make it weird, and it brings a more of a community feel to it as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I literally just watched it. I watched it yesterday, and I'm probably going to watch it again, but then I probably won't for a while, just because I get completely immersed, and then I just feel really sad for the rest of the day, because that's how I just take it on like that. I literally I get it. Like, I see it, I feel it, you feel it. And if you don't feel it, I wouldn't say you're a robot, but you might want to see someone about that. But that's okay if you don't, not to make you feel bad. But you don't like allow the emotions to be. And I think it's therapy. It's therapy for her to be writing. Keep writing as well. Write, even if you're not a songwriter, poetry. This is just like side notes now, but you felt this, you feel this. You might think, oh, I'm not a writer, I'm not this. Everyone's born creative, it's usually battered out of us through school years and God knows what. So let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson. Sorry, I'm getting a bit preachy now, aren't I? Pen and paper, it's, and generally we berate ourselves on how good or bad we think we are anyway. It's really irrelevant, actually, I think, unless you want to be a songwriter or you want to be a writer, then yeah, you're not going to please everyone on that respect anyway. But just get down, even in terms of like making yourself feel better, writing it down. As I know some of you have already heard that. It's nothing new, right? But write it, because it's so much better to get it out than in. And for me, it's my therapy. Like, I don't see anyone, shocking, but I write and I sing and I cry, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm starting to, you get to know who you are and what your triggers are and whatnot. But even if you think it's stupid or silly or negative in your head, get it out. Like, don't be afraid to get out and just explore. And there's no right or wrong in terms of creativity. It's from you. There's no wrong in you, is there? And this is a bit pitchy, but you can work on that. But your feelings and your stories, get it out. And let this be as kind of like an allowance. I don't know if you want to call it that or not. I just wanted to read out actually something she said. 2% chance of survival. She has a 2% chance of survival out of 100. But she said, I just love her. Can I just say, I actually love you? Yeah. 2% isn't 0%. And I strangely get what she says, because it's such a positive thing to say, because she doesn't appear to be, and rightly so, like down and depressed, which is fine, completely fine if you got this coming at you and you're having to deal with all this stuff. And that's fine. That's fine. We all deal with things differently. There's no right or wrong. But in her way of dealing with things, she's accepted. It feels like there's an acceptance with what she's going through, and just I'm okay, it's okay. It's all right. And she's at peace with it. And I think that's a beautiful, kind of hard to get your head around place to be, and it shows in her songwriting. And I think she's just lovely, and her beautiful voice cements the beautiful song. And I get the reaction thing, like seeing people's reaction, like, oh yeah, I get it now. Yeah, I don't think the judges always say a lot like me. I could literally I think because of the time frame again, but I think they probably could revel and talk a lot about it. Well, I hope they could anyway. Not, yeah, it's very good. Good night. We off for a drink. It's it's nice to spend a bit of time. Or anyway, for me, it's nice to just talk about this beautiful girl. Anyway, and I wish her. Can I just say, I doubt she's watching, but or anyone for that matter, just to get that out. We're all dealing with things, big, small, whatever. It's irrelevant and subjective. So it's what you're dealing with, and however you deal with it, we all have different ways. And don't be afraid. It is okay. And I do say hashtag you're never alone. Like, the feeling of loneliness is awful, and I wish that nobody ever could feel that. And I know it's really hard to have that, but and sometimes just take a breath, take a breather. Anyway, lots of love, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. I probably could talk more. I did write a few notes actually, because it wasn't like a reaction thing when I'm just like babbling away from me and what I usually do. I always get a bit funny if you could hear my gulping, so I do generally cut it out. Hope you're not offended. Oh, this is really comfortable. Hashtag never stop singing. Hashtag you're never alone. Hashtag be yourself. That's it. I'm out. I love you guys. I feel quite sleepy now.